Welcome back. So last week I did this little experiment where I asked you guys to send in your questions that you would ask if you had the chance to interview someone with the job of being a Children's podcaster, and you guys did not hold back. You sent in some great questions, like really good ones. So this episode is all about answering those questions. I also asked you guys to vote on your favorite questions, so we could talk about those today. Question no. One was from Amelia, who wanted to know, what does your day look like? Followed by, how do you come up with these ideas? Which came in at a very close no too. And then lastly, how do you stay so happy? I do have an episode about my schedule, but it is several years old now, so let's start there. A lot has changed since I first started making videos. I usually try to get most of my work done during the morning hours while my kids are still sleeping. That way I can be fully focused and get into a good workflow. Then once they wake up, I focus on being a mum for the rest of the day. I try not to check my messages or answer emails or do any work at all during the times I am with my kids. The only exception is if we're doing a screen recording together. Sometimes I'll check in real quick during a break in filming to answer an email or something, but I try not to let work interfere with our family time. Okay, so this next question was, how do you come up with these ideas? Well, sometimes ideas will pop into my head randomly, and I'll jot them down in my idea notebook. But a lot of times I look to news stories or current events for inspiration. Like recently I read that a group of scientists discovered water on the moon, which led me to wonder, how do plants grow on the moon? And that became the basis for a recent episode. I also like to pay attention to what's going on in the world around me. Like I mentioned, I have 2 kids. They're 6 and 4 years old, so I hear a lot of conversations happening around the dinner table with them and their friends. I'll overhear things like, my dad says that, or my friend has a pet lizard, and I'll write those things down because I know they re the kinds of topics that kids are interested in. A lot of episodes actually came from hearing snippets of conversations like that. My final tip for coming up with ideas is to just go outside and explore. Go for a walk in your neighborhood or at a local park and pay attention to your surroundings. Go to the library and browse the shelves. Look at the books that are popular with kids your age. Go to a toy store and see what kinds of toys catch your interest. There's always inspiration everywhere if you know where to look for it. Next question was, how do you stay so happy? And this is a really good question. I do feel like overall I'm a pretty happy person, but I wouldn't say that I'm happy all the time. It's important to remember that emotions are temporary. Whatever emotion you're feeling right now, it will pass. If I'm sad or frustrated or angry, I know it won't be this way forever, so I try not to dwell on negative feelings for too long. If there's something that's upsetting me, I'll allow myself to feel that emotion for a bit, but then I'll try to shift my focus to something more positive. Another thing that helps me stay happy is setting short-term goals. If I have something to look forward to each day, even if it's something small, it gives me something to be excited about. Maybe it's getting to snuggle my puppy in the morning before everyone else wakes up, or maybe it's planning out my next family vacation. Having something to look forward to helps keep me motivated and optimistic about the future. Finally, something that helps me stay happy is helping others. I feel like when you're focused on yourself and your own happiness, it can be easy to get caught up in your own little world and forget about other people. But when you take the time to help someone else or to do something nice for a stranger, it puts things into perspective and it reminds you that there are people who are less fortunate than you. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't be concerned about our own happiness, but I am just saying that it's also important to remember that there are other people in the world who are struggling and who could use our help. When I focus on helping others, it makes me feel grateful for what I have. I'm going to do a few of them at once here. One of them was, how do you learn so much stuff? Another one was, how do you research for your podcast? I thought it was something that other people did. When I first started, I didn't know anything about audio. I didn't know how to record, edit, or publish an audio file, but I was fascinated by the process and I loved learning how to do it. After I recorded my first few episodes, I shared them with my family and friends, and they encouraged me to share them with the world. So that's what I did, and I've been learning and growing ever since. Another reason I started was because I wanted to be able to talk about things that were unkid related. At the time, I was primarily making videos for kids, and while I enjoyed that, I missed talking about things that were more geared towards adults. With Curious World, I get to talk about both. I get to learn something that I am genuinely curious about, and I get to share it with kids in a way that's engaging and fun. And finally, I started the podcast because I wanted to put more positivity out into the world. I feel like there's enough negativity out there already, and I wanted to be a part of the solution. Whenever I hear something that makes me feel cynical or doubtful, I feel so lucky to be able to do what I do for a living. Not only is it something that I love, but it's also something that I'm passionate about. I believe in what I am doing, and I feel like it is something that makes a positive impact on the world. And finally, I'm constantly reminded of the impact that Curious World is having on people's lives. I get messages from listeners all the time telling me how much they love the podcast and how it's helped them learn new things or become more curious. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you liked this episode, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.